Hi everybody, it's Amalia and I'm here today with the February 2022 sheetload of cards. Every month, Alicia from Call Me Crafty Al presents a template for a sheetload of cards from either a 6x6 or a 12x12 paper pad. She provides a sketch and supply list as well as a cutting guide for making a set of cards. I've been working through the K & Company Wild Saffron Designer Paper Pad with 36 sheets of paper. I've worked through it for the past year and I'm almost done with this paper pad. The sheet load of cards for February 2022 yields 6 cards and is a special edition for 6x6 paper. Now I still wanted to use my 12x12 paper, and if you want to use 12x12 paper, you can too. Just cut it down to 6x6. But I want to point out a few things. 12x12 paper typically has larger sized or dimension patterns on it. So for example, one side of the pattern paper that I chose had these large, beautiful florals. And if you cut it down to the 1-inch width, you can see an interesting design or pattern, but the overall pattern really doesn't come across. So I was picking out my paper with the intention of patterns that would be a good dimension and size within the 1-inch by 4 3/4 inches that is needed for this particular sheet load. These are the 3 patterns that I chose for my sheet load. I'll be cutting them to 6x6. I chose a small, a little bit larger, and then this much more spread out pattern with the butterfly and the brown swirl. I like the way that it came out, and I think you'll see my reasoning when I show you the cards that I made. I opened up my Stampin' Up! Baked Brown Sugar cardstock to make the card bases for these cards. I usually use pre-made cards and envelopes, but all I have in my stock is a white color, and that's not going to go well with the tones of this paper pad, so I'm using this instead. Alicia's card example was, I guess they call this hot dog style. It's the long way, where the card opens up the long way. So I'm putting this on my paper trimmer and cutting at 4 1/4. Then I'm going to crease this at 5 1/2 for each card. The next thing I'm going to do is cut my layer for the 1-inch strips, and I'm using a piece of 12x12 brown that I have from American Crafts. It's a nice linen textured cardstock, and it's going to look very nice behind my 1-inch strips. But here I am making sure that my 1-inch strips, first of all, look good with the color, but also will fit in within that card strip. And it looks like they will. I'm using my Martha Stewart scoreboard here to score my cardstock. This tool isn't completely necessary, but it sure does help a lot. Here I'm really testing the bend of my cardstock. All cardstock has a natural bend to it, and I'm just holding it up on my hand and sort of to eye level to see which way the card bends. And I want to score the cardstock on the inside of the bend. Okay? You'll score the cardstock on the inside of the bend, and then you'll fold it in the opposite direction of that score line. That will keep your cardstock from cracking. If you've ever had your cardstock crack when you've scored it and folded it, it will drive you mad because it looks really sloppy. And if you're a sort of kind of perfectionist, you don't want that. So here's the really creative part for me. This is me with my card almost ready to fully assemble, but I'm going through my sentiments. I have a bunch of sentiments that I created and little pieces of ephemera that I've created, and I store it in my rainbow small drawer set, and each color has its own theme. This is grateful. I have love. I have friendship or something along those lines, and I go through that looking for things that will work with the project that I'm working on, and I always seem to find something. Well, here are my finished cards. I think they came out really nicely. This was a great sheet load from Alicia for this month. And, I usually try to follow the advice or the guidelines on the sheet loads, but I don't always follow it 100%. I always put my sort of little spin on it. And I didn't have any die cut images or ephemera other than what you see here. For example, these hearts right here are just off-white linen texture cardstock from Stampin' Up. And I did a project last year where I used self-laminating sheets and gilding flakes to trap them and laminate and cut out some hearts. And so I used that as the ephemera, and I had some existing sentiments from previous projects, and I had these also existing in my little stash there. So I just kind of fished those out from my sentiment and stash. And then I have these, which is, they're called Starform, is the brand, I guess. But these are just gold foil style stickers. They have little dots and straight lines and these scalloped lines. And I used the scalloped ones just to line this brown banner. And it's a different color brown. It's a deeper brown that I think works together with that red. And I chose this red. It's a deeper type of red, and it really goes perfectly with the colors in the butterfly. So I think all of the tones together work really well. And the three little dots here and the straight lines. I love how that sentiment just came out just with a little bit of that touch of gold shine. I had this sentiment, which is a sympathy sentiment, and I didn't back it with anything. I usually back my sentiments with something, but I used some of those gold foil stickers to just bring it out a little bit. And I had some of these left over. So yeah, whenever I work on a project and I make something like some sentiments or some ephemera, I always cut out or make extras because I like to have a lot to choose from. Maybe the 3 that I made just aren't right. And, if I have 6 to choose from, it's better. It works out better for my project. But I put the others back into my stash, and I always find a way to use them. So don't forget that this is a team collaboration for the sheet load of cards, and use the hashtag that you see in the title of this video to search out the other players in this collab. We worked together with Alicia to bring some really great content to you for the sheet load of cards, and if you click on that hashtag, you'll see all of the other participants for the month in the collaboration. And I really appreciate you stopping by my channel and stopping by, leaving some comments. Let me know what you think of these cards. And thanks so much, everybody. Bye.